It's story time!
Hello and welcome to the Storytime podcast, and this week I have with me Clara of Clarification.
Hi.
Is Clarification, is that pronounced right?
It is, yeah. Yeah, that's
so, do you want to tell everyone where to find you on the internet?
You can find me on Clarification on YouTube, on Twitter, Clarification, basically Facebook, Twitter, Instagram as Clarification, comes up there.
And do you have a Snapchat? A public one?
I don't really use that anymore. I've been into Instagram stories of late.
Instagram stories, okay.
Yeah.
Cool, so I'll put all your links in the description.
Thank you.
So you can click them, and it's Clarification. Spell like the word clarification. It's a pun on your name.
It's such a clever pun.
But the link will be in the description anyway, and in the show notes on SoundCloud. And do you want to kind of bring us into what we thought we would talk about this week? You have a few stories for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, this story time, I want to talk about my experience with kidney disease. I was first diagnosed with it last year around October, but it all started it's coming up to the first year anniversary. The 19th of September is when it all started, so I might as well start from there. But so essentially what happened was Sunday morning I got this really, really intense pain, and ended up on the floor, really, really bad. Thought, it's just a bad cramp, it'll pass, it'll be fine. So I ended up after lying on the floor to see will it pass, got up, went upstairs, went back to bed for a couple of hours, then went about my day, went shopping, did all the normal things, and then the following day I was just like, I actually can't deal with this anymore, this is not right. So I went into the GP and I thought something else was going on, but it ended up it wasn't. But we went in anyway, and the GP was like, no, you're not pregnant. I was like, yay, and that's great, thanks for that. Because I've never been pregnant, I was having abdominal pains, I was just like,
yeah,
maybe.
Oh yeah,
maybe
true,
this could be it. But no, I wasn't. And she was saying, she took urine sample, and she was like, oh, that's a lot of protein, I'm going to send off a blood test and I'll ring you back. So I was like, a lot of protein, I wonder what that is. And went home, googled it, and which was always great, as you can imagine. As you can imagine.
Dr. Google, you're dying. It's always,
doctors,
it's always the absolute worst case scenario.
Oh yeah, no, I was dying. And but so then I kind of was like, after it said, it said pregnancy and then loads of other things, and I was just like, yeah, probably I may be pregnant. I was just, might not be, everything else seemed far worse than that.
Yeah.
So I sat down on the couch and tucked into half a tin of salt and vinegar Pringles and some dairy milk, the giant buttons. That's important for later.
Yeah, it's very specific information.
It's very specific because it's very key later.
Okay.
So anyway, the doctor was like, grand, okay, yeah, you need to go straight to the hospital. So I was like, okay, do I need to bring a bag? And she was like, yeah, no, definitely bring a bag. So I was like, okay. So got all my stuff, and then proceeded to walk to the hospital, which was about a good 20 minutes away. And by this time I was proper crippled with the pain, so I was walking really slow. Realistically,
where did you walk? You don't drive, do you not?
I don't drive, but I also thought it was too close for a taxi because I live about maybe a 15-20 minute walk from the Mater, which is the hospital I was sent to. And I was just part of me was I'm fine.
You kind of walk everywhere, don't you? So I can see why you'd walk over, that's fair enough.
Yeah, but I was in a lot of pain. So I was determined. It was really stupid. Anyway, I won't get into it, but sat down in the emergency room and literally was taken in straight away, which I thought, I had appendicitis years ago, and was waiting there for 4 hours to get to get seen, and I was brought in straight away. So that should have been the first indication that something was not quite right. And I was brought into what was it called? It was the infectious disease cornered off room. She was like, don't worry, you're not infectious or anything, we're just going to leave you in here.
We're just going to put you in the room with all the infectious diseases. So maybe you can pick up a bit more.
Yeah, exactly. Your immune system's shot. Let's leave you in here. You're right, you off now. But so I was left in there, and numerous doctors came in to see me, and they're like, oh, it could be appendicitis. I was like, definitely definitely not that. I can tell you that that's gone. That's well gone. And so they were like, okay, you're going to have to stay overnight. So that was fine. Stayed overnight. And I had probably the worst night that I've ever like experienced. It was so horrible. Like less than every maybe half an hour to 20 minutes someone was in to see me throughout the entirety of the night.
You couldn't even sleep.
No, and like they turn off the light and you think, oh yeah, no, they're gone now, but they'd be back in 20 minutes and you'd be just asleep, and they'd ask you the same thing, like, why are you here, what's going on, do you still have the pain? Then they'd poke your stomach there for a while, and it was just very intense.
Sounds like torture, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds like torture.
Yeah, it was not very nice. And then they kept taking blood as well, so it was like maybe every hour or two they were taking blood at the same time, so it wasn't like I could get any sleep, or nothing was registering. I was completely numb to what was going on. I was like, this is like, it was like it wasn't happening to me. I was just not registering any of it. So then in the middle of the night I was brought in away from that ward into a different room and then moved into intensive care. Oh. And yeah, it was a bit, I still didn't register, still thought I was fine, and I remember being in there and everyone else in there was elderly, and the curtains were all around me, and I was right at the nurse's station, and they were I could hear them talking about me, and it didn't they would come in and they'd be just like, oh, wouldn't expect it was you, like, because CLARA wouldn't be exactly like a young name, it'd be kind of like an older name. So and for kidney disease it's kind of seen as like an older person disease, like it's seen
so
in
at
elderly.
This point were they suspecting kidney disease but they hadn't told you yet?
No, they thought it was an ovarian cyst,
which again they would probably attribute to an older person.
Yeah. Well, see, what happened was they saw that my kidneys were failing, but they also saw as well that it was an ovarian cyst. So they were like, is the ovarian cyst causing my kidneys to fail? Okay. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. It was kind of, they thought the two were linked. And the following day I went for a test, I went for a CT scan, and it was horrible. Have you ever had a CT scan?
Nope.
It is like big box thing, whatever, that's fine, and you see that in the movies and things like that.
I've seen them go in
and that's fine, but it was only like a half one, so it was over your belly. But they said like, okay, so you're going to feel like a slight warming of your hand or your arm, because that's where they have to put in radiation into your body to highlight all the organs for the machine. So they did that anyway, but they said also that you will feel a sensation as if you're going to pee yourself, and I felt that. And they were like, oh yeah, no, you can walk back into the ward now. And it was at that moment that I was just like, oh shit, like, this is not right. This is really, really bad. And I felt so humiliated, and so, because like you genuinely feel like you've wet yourself. Yeah. And they're just like walk in front of everybody in the ward, and you're just like, I had been sleep deprived the night before, cried my eyes out, and then at that point the nurse was like, have you called anyone to come get you, like to come in for you? And I was like, no. And she said like, no, you better ring your mum and your dad. And at that point they said that they're thinking of putting you straight on dialysis, which is meaning that your kidneys are no longer working at all. Oh. So they're not filtering and they're not controlling your blood pressure, they're not doing anything, and that's what the dialysis machine will do. So that's what they were hoping to do. So rang mum and dad, they like, dad shut up shop, dad's a barber and he works for himself, so he's like, doors closed, gone. Mum was in a play school, like, so she's handing kids left, right and centre, getting in the car, off they go up to the big smoke. And so like mum and dad, at this point I can tell you I looked very, very well, so I was like sleep deprived, eyes red from crying, I looked really terrible, and mum and dad got such a fright when they saw me. So then after that, just to skip ahead, they had like numerous tests then going on, and they discovered that the cyst and the kidney disease were separate. They were completely separate things.
But it turns out you had two of them. You had a cyst as well.
I had a cyst and I had the kidney disease.
And was the cyst what caused the pain, and they just happened to find the kidney disease?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did the cyst kind of save your life then?
It did, yeah.
Jesus.
It would have been highlighted eventually, because I would have gotten so sick that I would have, I dread to think what, I could have collapsed or anything like that. But like, because like when you're our age, like, you don't tend to like go run to the doctor for everything.
No,
You're like, you're
really
healthy,
don't,
like,
yeah.
you know, so you're not going to think like I was tired. So like the symptoms that I had previously that in retrospective I could identify was that I had like really bad fatigue, but I was just like, I was in a really stressful job. We did a whole school inspection and was very, very,
and you easily write off tiredness. You easily write, like, even constant everyday tiredness. Just like, well, I'm just working really hard.
Exactly. I am just putting it in, like, but like
staying up too late, watching too many Netflix TV shows. That's you write it off. Like,
absolutely. Like that particular weekend, I don't know whether you remember. It was one of the creator. You had a creator day.
Yeah.
And it was like the evening out after. So I went out the Saturday night with you.
Oh, no way.
Sunday morning I was on the floor and then spent the rest of the day to myself. Like, yeah. I wasn't drinking, thank God. Like, otherwise I'd been rightly wrecked.
You'd nearly be like, oh, I'm just wrecked after the night out kind of thing.
I was kicking myself. I felt like really terrible. I was like really headachy and feeling really sick.
Imagine
I was
if
like,
you had gone drinking, you would have been like, it's just a really bad hangover.
I was giving out. I was just like, why didn't I drink? I feel hungover anyway. Like, I was so disgusted. I was like, I should have went on a mad one because I feel just as bad. But maybe it was probably better off that I
was going to say
didn't.
It was mad that it came out of nowhere, but now I kind of understand more now that the pain was actually from the cyst.
Yeah.
And that I can see how that could come out of nowhere as well.
Like, most women have cysts and things like that, but mine luckily has just, it dissolved and that was it. Like, some women have to have them removed, like, but mine just kind of dissolved. So it was really like a really freak thing that happened that really highlighted this whole thing. Like,
so sorry, to go back, you said that they told you then, they found out that your was it your kidneys?
Yeah, my kidneys.
Your kidneys and your cyst were unrelated, sorry.
Yeah, that they were completely unrelated and that just one highlighted the other. So it was very, it was kind of like, okay, right, so do I have two things to worry about now? Or like, like, will that go? Or, you know, so they kept giving me like loads of scans and like, they couldn't give me any medication either because they weren't entirely sure, especially at the beginning, like, what to actually give me, because if it was just a byproduct of the cyst,
it'd be different.
The kidneys
treatment
would come back.
Yeah, gotcha.
Do you know what I mean? If you treated the cyst, then everything would keep going. But unfortunately, it didn't, because when they did start to treat me, the levels that they check in your urine is creatinine, which is a chemical that is found in your kidneys, and it's filtered. So the lower it is, the more effective your kidneys are. You know, so the normal person will have like a range of about 50. When I went into hospital, I was about 500.
Oof.
So that was a point where it was maybe like 450 to 500. It reached 500 once they put the radiation in, because it sent my kidneys into distress.
So that's why they kind of saw you so fast, is because they could immediately tell your records were off the charts or whatever.
Yeah. It was they could tell like she has serious organ failure, like, you know, and craziness, crazy time. But then soon after, let's say, I got sent home, and they had to do like a further investigation. So they sent me home for like maybe 2 or 3 days, and they said, okay, we're going to give you a kidney biopsy, because we have to see now what is the extent of the damage, is it reversible, like what's the story. So a kidney biopsy, right, is essentially they figure out where the kidney is in your body and they stab you with a needle.
Oh my god. That sounds horrendous.
It was horrible. And best part, you're awake.
Is the kidney
you're awake.
in slightly different areas in different people then, or something?
It is, but you have scans and stuff, so they have a general idea of where they are.
Yeah, but
and as I said,
general
idea of where they are. So like I remember I went
Did you at least get a local anaesthetic?
No.
Oh sweet Jesus.
No, I did. No, I got local anaesthetic because I definitely didn't feel any pain.
Okay,
I was awake.
But you still have to see it, yeah.
I was awake, but see, no, you're on your front. So they because your kidneys are easier to get at from your. They're supposed to be on your back, but mine were they're all hidden and stuff. So that was another thing at the beginning.
So did you get stabbed a couple of times?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So, what happens is you go in and they have the nurses have a chat with you, and that was fine. So the first time I was obviously really, really nervous, so I kept talking a lot, so I may have annoyed them maybe just a little bit. They were like, we might take the edge off, so they gave me some sedatives, right? Because I kept saying I was just because they have to, you've nothing, you have your knickers on but you don't have anything on, you don't have pants on, and so I kept apologising for my Bridget Jones granny knickers, and I was just like, I'm so sorry, and they were just like, yeah, no, it's grand, and I was like, I'm so sorry.
I'm
just
sure
kept
they've
going
seen
and
worse,
going.
yeah.
But like, I just kept going. The thing is, I just kept going. They're like, oh, she's very nervous, we better give her some sedatives. So they gave me some sedatives. I still kept talking. So at that point, then they were like, she is obviously very nervous. So they gave me 2 more sedatives, which completely pretty much knocked me out, right?
Yeah.
Which is not what you want during a kidney biopsy, because they ask you to move.
Right.
So I was like having a grand old chat there for a while and then was gone. Like, I don't remember anything. And so they in the second, I'll tell you about the second time in a second, but they were, you know, like, so I was completely unresponsive until they were finished. And then weirdly enough, I asked them, can I see the sample? And it's like the length of your, let's say from here to here, of your finger, of a sample of your kidney. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And then I don't remember anything else. It was
So
really
was that
odd.
useless then, because you hadn't moved when they'd asked you?
Yeah, so it was kind of like, it was not exactly what they needed or something. It was like, I don't entirely know what it was. They couldn't see exactly what was going on in the kidney from that sample. So I'd come back like 2 days later, or like a couple of days later, to go again, which is worse because you know what you're expecting.
Yeah.
And they didn't give me a sedative as much, right? So they gave me 1 sedative and that was it. So I remember hearing it. I remember the needle. I could feel the pressure of the needle going in. Like, it is the weirdest sensation. Like, it's so difficult to describe the feeling of it. And you can feel like they're rummaging around a bit, like, because they have to get in there. Like,
excuse my face. I'm just really squeamish. I don't mean to be pulling your face.
I'm so sorry, no, but it is. It's horrible. Like, but I was lying there, just like, the nurse was very nice. She like held my hand because I was.
The nurses are so nice.
They are like, I can't say enough about the staff in the matter. Like, they were like, they went above and beyond throughout the entire process. Like, like,
I think I was in the matter actually for my broken bone aftercare. They're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, they truly are really, really caring for you. I didn't meet a bad nurse in there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's bad people in every profession. But I didn't meet them in there.
Yeah.
And so the second time round was horrible, but because I didn't have the sedative, the aftercare was a lot easier on me because I wasn't in as much pain, because they didn't have to, because I could move when they needed me to move and different things like that. So it was a lot easier of a process to go through. So that was the kidney biopsy, and that kind of turned up what exactly was going on with the kidneys. Excuse me. So basically, I was really annoyed when I heard it, because it's just like, I was very, very angry at the time, and I was looking for anything to blame, like any kind of outside thing. And it turned out that it was just an autoimmune response to an infection, and my system just started attacking my kidneys.
Oh.
Yeah, it's sometimes unexplained in most people, like, and they don't know why exactly, but they think it was an infection that the body was trying to fight, and it started misidentifying the kidneys and were attacking the kidneys.
Jesus.
So that's kind of what happens. So like, when they gave like different scans, so when I had ultrasounds and different pictures of the kidneys, like, your normal kidney is like, you know, you've seen a kidney, like, I've seen a kidney bean anyway, like, it's proper round, it's like a C shape. Mine was like all indented and completely scarred, and really like shriveled. It was just really unhealthy kidney.
Wow.
They're still pretty much that way, like, they'll always be that way now, but
And so what does that mean then for you now in your everyday life? Like, is this gone away now, or is this something you have forever, or?
I will have this for the rest of my life.
Okay.
Essentially. So everything changed when I got home. I wasn't sent straight back to work for obvious reasons. So I had maybe about 4 weeks or so to myself to kind of adjust to life being changed. So for one thing, my diet has changed completely. So certain food groups have to be cut out. So for example, like anything that you would classify as healthy, you can't have. So like brown breads and stuff like that, can't really have that. So like homemade brown bread, you can't have that.
Okay.
Thinking like, you know, like if I won't have white bread, I'll have this brown bread, it's much healthier for you. At one point I couldn't have real butter because of the fact that my cholesterol wasn't being controlled by my kidney. Like they were all connected.
Yeah, you see, you don't, like, I don't realise what my kidneys are doing for me.
Neither do I most of the time until they tell me something's wrong.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, your cholesterol's high.
Something else.
Yeah, exactly. Like they cut out, I'm a big chocolate fiend, like huge, and that was the first thing that went.
Oh, is that why you mentioned that you had eaten chocolate that night?
And also kidneys control your salt levels. So I had an excess amount of salt in my body, and then here was like tucking into salt and vinegar crisps with chocolate, which means I was making myself sicker without knowing it.
Without knowing, yeah.
Yeah, so like I found it very difficult after I came out with the diet because I was trying to, normally how I cope with things, so like exams or any kind of stress, I eat.
Yeah, so yeah, like a lot of people do.
Yeah, exactly. Like I eat my feelings, very much so. And so with this new diet, like I had to kind of, I couldn't do that. I couldn't eat my feelings because I was being so restricted on basically everything. Like couldn't eat as many potatoes as I wanted, couldn't eat butter. So for example, like sorry, I keep saying my go-to kind of like if I'm feeling really sorry for myself is bread and butter.
Bread and butter, interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So like if I'm not gonna have, I'd rather, it's basically just a vessel for butter. I just love butter.
Oh, fair enough.
Right?
Okay.
So that was the first thing that went. So like I got really upset. Weirdly enough.
No, I totally get it because as well as that's not even unhealthy. Like you would think you'd be like, I have my favourite snack is a healthy one. How can I not have my favourite?
I'm having half a loaf of white bread and butter. Like it's not exactly like healthy, depending on the crisis.
Fair enough.
Like it's pretty bad. So during this huge crisis, I couldn't really eat my feeling. Couldn't have chocolate. Couldn't have crisps. Couldn't have. So I had like plain biscuits, but I was so scared of what to eat because I didn't know because at that point we didn't know, like this was before the kidney biopsy as well, so we didn't know exactly what had happened. So I was terrified to eat anything that was outside of the list. Like I would measure, I still do, but I kind of know now, like I have amount of meat I can eat in a day, I have amount of dairy I can eat in a day, so I can only have like maybe like a portion of milk would be something, a small amount in your cereal would be a portion, and that's it for the rest of the day. So none in your tea, nothing. I couldn't.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's really I had to swap to like herbal teas to kind of like combat that, or like lemon tea and stuff like that, like just to kind of have some semblance of like putting in stuff into your body, because at times I was just so afraid of eating that it was just
you could nearly just stop eating.
Yeah, absolutely. I felt sometimes it was easier to not do that, to not eat.
Yeah, and you could totally develop an eating disorder by accident.
Absolutely. But like your weight is so monitored by the matter.
Oh, like, fair ugh, yeah.
That they would have definitely.
That was actually going to be one of my next questions. Like with your new diet, do you find like it's hard to keep your weight on, or like it fluctuating, or?
I did at the beginning because it was such like all junk food was cut out. So imagine not having any takeaway, like super super clean eating without any like any takeaways, no crisps, not many biscuits. Like I only had was digestive, not even bread. Like new foods that I wasn't really sure of.
There's a lot of carbs just being dropped like that as well.
Yeah, and they were like, oh, eat pasta, but I never was a massive pasta person.
Yeah,
I would have eaten like potatoes and things like that. So it was just, it was a huge change. Especially because of the meat and the dinners as well, because you're kind of like, if you're hungry, sure, look, put a bit of chicken in that and like bulk it up or something. So now I'm really conscious of like what is in my diet and what kind of vitamins and minerals are actually in my, like what dietary requirements am I meeting, because it can be very easy to not reach them because you're just kind of being overly paranoid about these things.
Yeah. And is there like, so other than the fact that you're obviously going to be on this diet, is there anything else like throughout your life? So are you ever going to have to get one replaced, or can you get your kidney
You can get a kidney transplant. And I'm on the kidney transplant list. See, I'm thinking in regards to like, when I say that I'm going to be dealing with this for the rest of my life, it includes, let's say, multiple transplants, multiple times where I will be this sick again. I will have to go through the entire process again, at least twice more in my lifetime.
At least twice.
Mm-hmm. Because an average kidney, a donated kidney, will last 20 years, if you're lucky.
Right, okay.
Yeah, so it's not like kidney, grand, off you go, you're grand now for the rest of your life. It's not like that at all. It all depends who you get your kidney from. So if you get an organ from, it could be any organ, an organ from, we'll say major organs, I don't know about eyes, but from a family member, it's more likely to last longer because they're more closely related to your genes are all pretty much near enough. If it's from someone who has passed away, the average lifespan of that kidney will be 12 to 15 because it's not being, there's obviously, the person has died and there's not going to be as much oxygenated blood going through the body and things like that, and that's why it's a little bit less. But that's kind of where I'm at that time when I was first diagnosed. That's what was kept making me very, very angry, because I was just like, I was in the depths of this and then thinking about it like, I'm going to have to go through this again and again, and many people were saying to me, but you don't know about medical advances in 20 years time. Yeah, that's the point. I don't know. You're not able to give me a guarantee of whether you'll be able to give me a stem cell kidney made from my own self and then put it in and have no problems. You can't guarantee me that. Yeah. So that's not giving me, it sounded awful, maybe it just gave me no peace of mind, that idea of you don't know that unknowingness.
It's this real loose promise.
You
never know what we might come up with in the next 10 years. Cheers. That's really helpful.
That's a great peace of mind. It just, that's for others I'm sure that does, but for me it really didn't, because I liked knowing something that was very, at that time everything was very tumultuous and very I felt nothing was in my control. So I was on a diet that I didn't want to be on. I had to go to appointments every week that I did not want to go to. I felt I was sitting there, one of the youngest people in the waiting room, being like, this is going to be me for the next number of months in here. Everyone lovely, but this is your reality now.
Yeah.
Because you hear of people having to live in hospitals and things like that, but you never associate that it's going to be you.
No, never.
And it's just, it was so annoying having to go in. It was just so annoying, and I was so tired. I was so sick of it. I was so sick of it all, in every sense of the word. I was sick of it. But because I remember going in for my first appointment after I came home, and they were at that point you were given so much information so quickly.
Nearly too much, was it?
So much. The first time I went in, they were saying about, okay, now your kidneys probably will last now another maybe 3 months, so you'll get till Christmas. This was October.
Oh my god.
You'll get till Christmas, and then we'll have to look about dialysis and all that. And at that point, dialysis to me was the worst thing to ever happen to me, because when you have dialysis, periodontal dialysis, they put a tube into your abdomen, and for me that was a very visual sign that I wasn't well.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm fine. It's just but I remember going in and they were like, okay, now we're going to show you the machine, and I started crying. And
so, just if you don't mind me, I'll give you a second and I'll ask you a question as well.
Yeah.
So the dialysis machine, it's one of those things that you wheel around, isn't it? So because I've seen those on TV, and then I've seen people with bags, but I think the bags are for something different.
The bags are for,
they're colostomy bags, aren't they?
Yeah, they're for people who don't have any bowels.
Yes, I think so.
Or bladders. So one of those.
Yeah, so dialysis is not something you could walk around.
No.
And just have under your dress or anything. It's it's an actual. So you'd and how does that work? Do you go in for a little bit and come back out, or? I'm very lucky that I've home dialysis. So, I got the tube in, under. I was not happy at the time, but I'm so happy I have it in now, because I feel so much better. Yeah.
But the tube is just, it's under your dress. You have like dressing here, so mine, in case you look, it's here. And it's just like a little white tube. It's about this size, and it's got like a little cap that you attach to the machine, to a wire to the machine. Now the machine is like essentially just a big white box, and you have like your dialysis fluid put onto it. So for me, my particular cycle is I have 1,500 millilitres go into me each night. Everyone has a cavity in their belly that's completely empty. There's nothing there. And it just has loads of blood vessels around it.
Okay.
So it's perfect for dialysis, which is like taking the toxins from the blood vessels and putting it into the machine. Excuse me. So they have, so I do this every night. So it goes in cycles. So I have 4 cycles of 1,500 millilitres goes in, 15 goes out. And it does that 4 times during the night.
And you just sleep through this, yeah?
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Well, as best you can.
Yeah, as best you can.
Is that every night?
Every night from now on.
Yeah.
And then during the day, I have 1 litre in my belly at all times. So right now I have that. It's currently working. I have an artificial kidney, if you get me, because the liquid is taking out the toxins.
And that's the liquid that was in
my belly
last night.
Yeah. So that'll be taken out, and then the 1,500 will be put in. Normally you have like what's called drain pain.
Okay.
And it is a pain that is essentially like at your bottom, basically. But like the first time it happens, because your body is like, what is going on? Like it's pulling the liquid from you.
Yeah.
So your body's like, what is going on? And it's just freaking out, and it's in pain. So I was like hopping off the bed when it first happened. I couldn't lie down. I was up like this, couldn't deal with it. I was just like, I hope this is not every single time. It has gotten better, but it's only after like 2.5 months of being woken up every hour and 40 minutes with this drain pain. Now it got better each time, but I was still woken up from a deep sleep in pain for a good maybe 10 to 15 minutes of consistent pain, and then it would stop once the fill went in.
Yeah.
So it was very like, for me, dialysis, like thinking back to how like against I was to starting, and then looking back and looking at now and seeing like how well I am on it. I wish I got on it sooner.
Yeah.
I really, really do, because before dialysis my levels were going up and down. So I'd have like really good weeks, and then some weeks like I couldn't get out of bed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because my fatigue and everything like that was like, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. And I was very lucky that I was working in a school that was very understanding for this, and I was working as a substitute teacher. So if a morning I literally couldn't move, like I could ring up and she was just like, that is no problem, ring me when you're ready to go back to work.
That's good.
Like that, it's so important to have people like that in your life who are very, very understanding of a situation, and like don't pussyfoot around you.
Yeah.
But still, you know, like if you're willing to work, you're willing to work. But if you're not, that's perfectly okay too.
And I just want to ask you a question. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but just because you were so young, you're so young. Like, did you have health insurance?
No.
See,
I had no health insurance.
I've only got it recently. Like I went through my whole 20s without it.
You're so lucky. Like it'll take me now 5 years to get any insurance on my kidneys.
Oh, so you will be able to get it
eventually.
Okay, so that's
eventually.
I mean, it's not great, but it's not. I thought maybe that if you hadn't already had it, you might never be able to get it.
Depends on like when I rang up. It depends on like the company you go with, and like what's their waiting period. And normally it is 5 years.
Yeah.
But they could change the criteria when you're 4.5 years.
But we are you on public then? Or we have
I'm
public.
on public, yeah.
We have public here though, don't we? So it's like subsidised. Or...
It is. So like there's a cut-off point, but you've got to factor in as well that this was an unexpected thing to happen. I had just moved in with my boyfriend, so I'd factored in rent, and I hadn't been working during the summer because I'm a teacher, so it just kind of like, you know, like money was tight.
Yeah,
let's
no, I can imagine so, yeah.
And medications as well, like I'm on an injection. What's it called? It's what Lance Armstrong took for the...
It's not EPO, is it?
It is, yeah. It is, yeah, it is. I actually am on
That is
EPO.
amazing.
And you,
I mean, like, you get a few good jokes out of that.
yeah, no, it's pretty, like, my dad does cycling, so he's always just like, oh, Clara, you know, like, do you have any? I obviously don't give him any. I obviously don't. Disclaimer, I don't share my EPO with people. But, like, yeah, no, I'm on that. And I had to give myself, at one point, it was like every 2 weeks because my iron levels were really bad. Because your kidneys deal with your iron levels as well. Like,
Jesus,
so,
they actually do way more than I ever gave them credit for.
Just filtering your blood doesn't just do that. Like your blood pressure, like your cholesterol, like loads of little different things that you're kind of like, when one goes, like everything is out of balance. Like it's crazy. But yeah, so that alone, that injection every 2 weeks is €140.
Oof.
Right.
Oof.
Yeah. So that's without, like, I'm on 5 different tablets as well as that.
Yeah.
So it is quite costly, but thank God there's like a limit. So €140 is your limit for the month, but like it's €140 that you don't factor in.
Oh yeah, no, that's totally fair
anything.
enough.
Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have no medical card. I'm only after getting that sorted now.
Oh, at least you have one now.
Yeah, well, no, I haven't got it yet, but I put it in the form, like, and hope to God now.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
Oh, stop. I've had so much issues, right? If someone is going for illness benefit, right, they're ill.
Yeah.
You would think
Yeah.
that's it, right? I went in for illness benefit and was not entitled to it.
Yeah, I don't know how that whole thing works. Seems
It went
mad.
on like credits from work or whatever, but I've been working for 3 years, so I didn't quite understand why I was rejected. So like during that time, like with the dialysis tube anyway, I wasn't getting any money from the state at all.
Do you think that you might be able in a few years, if you build up more credits or whatever, you might be able to get it?
Hopefully I might get it next year, because my credits, I've kind of kept them up to date for this year, or kind of kept a closer eye on it anyway, because during the summer, like, even though I was not given any money for illness benefit, I still had the credits, so my credit is still, like, I still don't really understand it, really.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Like, I still don't understand. I'm just like, okay, a credit, yeah, but if that's counting, anyway, look, I won't get into that.
Yeah.
I'll just get really, really annoyed about that. But yeah, no, it's just kind of ridiculous. And then I was told, go get supplementary welfare, but because I live with my partner, I'm not entitled to that either.
Yeah,
so I was
of course
entitled
not.
to nothing, because I can't go for job seekers because I'm on illness benefit. So it's
Yeah.
like a vicious cycle of like, oh, so you're royally not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Cheers, that's grand.
And then, so I guess if anybody was watching this who might be going through the same thing as you, would you have any advice? Or
I would say that you need to keep talking to people, because there's at times where I was just like, I've talked enough about this to people. I felt like I was kind of upsetting people, so like I would talk mostly to my mum and to my boyfriend, and you know, there's at times where you're just like, this is an awful lot for them too. They have to come to terms with a lot of this as well, because, you know, for Phil, the boyfriend, like, there was a lot, you know, he's living with someone who's now, you know, sick, and now he never, like, he genuinely, I could not, he's amazing. Like, every night with me in the hospital, every night, weekends, never left me.
Yeah.
Like, went to work, came to me, that was it. That's all he did for like a month and a half. But there was at times where, you know, you feel like you're just being a burden to your, even though you're not, but you feel it.
Yeah.
I would say if you're feeling that way, you need to go. The Irish Kidney Association have free counselling.
well,
So
that's really good advice.
yeah, so you've 6 free counselling sessions with somebody. So even if you're feeling that you can't speak to anyone around you, that they can really, really help you out. There's also like the Samaritans, you can ring them up and have a conversation with them. Like, talk to your nurses, talk to your doctors, just keep talking, because if you keep bottling it up, you're going to end up like me, crying in the middle of your 6-year LCAs because you ripped down a sign, right? Okay. I know that doesn't make any sense, but because you were like internalizing things, like the smallest thing was setting you off. I was just like, you know, you're crying in front of your 6 years and they're just like, what is going on? God, she's crazy. Like, you know, so I like that's obviously, you know, that's not going to happen to everybody, but that's a case of like you had to keep talking. Also, there is, what's it called? Ask questions to your doctors. If you're not sure of something, don't go away not knowing like how to deal with it, because the more control you have over the situation, the easier your mindset will be. A friend of mine was telling me that you know, there was I was going into Beaumont for my pre-assessment for transplant to see whether was I appropriate, and I was really worried about a form that had to be gotten from a doctor, and she was like, and you're just waiting to see whether they have it or not. And I was like, yeah, but like I don't want to ring, and she was like, Clara, if you want to be in control of this, you need to ring everybody. You need to make sure that this form is sent to you by this date. You need to be on top of it. And that's kind of what I had to do. You kind of had to you kind of get used to things just happening.
Yeah.
And not taking control of it. So then at that point I was just like, no, I do have control of something. I can control getting this letter, even if this letter from the doctor, it may sound really stupid.
No, I totally get you. I totally get it, yeah.
You know, getting that bit of control back.
Rather than just waiting and seeing does it arrive on your doorstep.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, going back to work was a huge thing, because it meant some semblance of normality again. And like, no offense, kids are not going to go easy on you because you're sick.
Yeah.
They don't care if you're having an off day. They're in there to cause havoc. To listen. They want you to listen to them, and they don't want to listen to you. But do you know what I mean? So like it was like normal. It was very, very normal for me, because it just, no one knew. Went in, did my job, came home. It was just lovely. Yeah. It was really, really nice.
Oh, well, I feel we could like talk about this for hours.
It's a lot.
Well, I don't mean to lie. I feel like I'm cutting you off sort of.
No, you're
mid in your prime. But do you want to remind everyone just where to find you again online? Yeah. Because I'd imagine there's lots of people that want to hear more about this.
Yeah. So I kind of started talking about, let's say, my kidney journey at the moment, because my dad is a donor. He's going in as a living donor, so we've been kind of documenting that. And
he's going to try and donate to you?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that is amazing.
Yeah, so he was matched. So I'm very lucky that I was actually, sorry, I should have led with
that
this.
That is amazing. Your dad is a legend.
He really is. And so is my uncle, because he's also a match. I'm very lucky. Like, some people have, loads of people go in and none of them are a match, and I have two. I am like, I am so unbelievably blessed. I really, really am.
That is lovely.
Dad has passed all the tests, and we're hoping for a transplant early next year.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
That's brilliant news. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah. So early next year. That's.
Oh my god, your dad is amazing.
He really is.
The real MVP.
Yeah. Oh my god. He really, really is. Like, there was no question.
Of course there wouldn't be, but yeah, still, fair play to him.
He was, you know, and same with my uncle. At one point, my uncle, it felt like he was about to cut it out of himself. Like, at some point, he was just like, so when's the appointment? When are we going in?
I have read that there's lots of, like, stages, and even if you match, you could fail. So it's delighted that it's brilliant that your dad has passed all his tests.
And that, in itself, it sounds really bad, but it's like a cheap overall test of your own health as well. So like, he got a free like workup, like. So like, he is completely healthy.
Free full body check.
Full body. He got the heart checked. He got everything checked. He's good. His cholesterol's good. Like,
can even spare a kidney.
He has a spare kidney, which is very, very important for me. You know. So it's so it's just, that was crazy. So we're hoping now. So
you should definitely blog about that. Definitely.
Yeah. So Dad is hoping to be on my YouTube channel in the next couple of weeks to kind of have a chat about it. But the thing is, my dad is a man of very little words, so I don't know how well this works.
Not Irish men are like that, but I'm sure it'll be fine.
You know, like, in my video when I talked about it, I was like, so Dad, what they tell you in Beaumont? And he was like, all go. I was like, so what does that mean? He's like, we're going. I was like, we're getting a kidney. Oh, it's just like, we're all go. That's all he said. That's all he needed to say.
Well, I'll link your channel in the description so people can go and watch that video when it comes out. And have you one video already up with them?
I have a few. I've one about my diet. I've one about just talking about the really difficult days where, like, mentally you're not kind of in a good space, and you just kind of, my advice of how to deal with that. And then another one, just the vlog about the day of me going to the hospital and Dad going to Beaumont to his final overall checkup to say, like, okay, you're ready to go, we'll have you in.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So
just remind everyone, it's clarification.
It's clarification on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube.
And congratulations,
Thank you very much.
I didn't actually know that about
I didn't know whether you knew or not.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming all the way over.
I'm delighted.
And and I'm really excited to make this podcast as well, because I didn't really know much about this, and I really like getting people on who have totally different life experiences to me, and who can share those. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you so much for coming all the way out. I know it's in the sticks.
No, not at all.
Hi, so unfortunately my camera cut out right before the end of this podcast. I will upgrade my equipment soon, I promise. But it doesn't matter anyway, because I wanted to record a new outro because we got some amazing news. And I'm so excited to be able to put this in the end of the podcast, that CLARA and her dad have actually received a date for their transplant, and it's going to be this coming Tuesday. So this episode is going up on a Wednesday, and by next Tuesday they will be in the operating room and getting their transplant. So everybody, please, if you believe in God, please say a prayer, and if you don't, please send all your best wishes to them, and hopefully we can have CLARA on again on the podcast to tell us that story and to give us an update on how they're both doing. So thank you to CLARA for coming on. Best of luck in your operation, and we are on SoundCloud and YouTube. Check out the Patreon if you get a chance, and subscribe. Okay, see you next week.